Damn you, Nikon. Damn you. Hey guys, this is Sean with LOLOHO. Today we're doing a little preview of a new camera that Nikon has announced, and that is the D500. Now, the D500 has to be the most anticipated camera announcement of the year. That's because we've been waiting for this camera for a long time. The D500 is the successor to the D300S, a camera that was released, I believe, back in 1967. Okay, it hasn't been that long. But Nikon has, for some reason, taken its sweet time releasing a successor, sort of a top-of-the-line, king-of-the-mountain APS-C sensor camera. In fact, they waited so long they skipped the D400 entirely and went straight to D500. So what do you get with a D500 and why would you buy it? Well, this is a camera that has been optimized for wildlife and action photography. It's a DX sensor camera. And let's look at price first. Price, I'm sorry to report, is not cheap. Nikon's suggested retail price is almost $2,000. So it's priced really at the top of the DX sensor range. In fact, for that amount of money, you can pick up a full frame camera. So why would you choose a crop sensor camera? Well, with the D500, you're getting a professional Nikon body. And in fact, some people are calling this a baby D5. The D5 is Nikon's top-of-the-line DSLR, and it costs, I don't know, $6,000 or $7,000. What does that professional body deliver to you? Well, it's fully weather sealed. In fact, it's so weather sealed that Nikon has chosen to delete the onboard pop-up flash. So for 2,000 bucks, you do not get an onboard flash. What you do get is better weather sealing, and this body has backlit buttons, which I think will be very useful in low light situations. You get a viewfinder that provides the widest angle view of any APS-C sensor camera Nikon's ever built. I believe it's a 100% coverage viewfinder. You get 10 frames per second speed. That's fast. 10 frames per second, whereas most of the other comparable DSLRs that Nikon's offering, even the APS-C sensor offerings like the D7200, will do about 6 frames per second. You're getting almost double that with the D500. And when you're taking photographs of action, sports, or wildlife, especially birds in flight, you'll appreciate every one of those 10 frames per second. But what about the buffer, you ask? Well, with the D500, you get a huge buffer. I believe it will store something like 200 raw images straight to the card without the buffer filling up. When you want to capture that perfect angle of the bird in flight, or you want to capture that perfect expression on the face of an athlete, that 10 frames per second and a huge buffer will help you capture that. Probably most importantly, combined with the 10 frames per second, you get 153 autofocus points that cover the majority of the APS-C sensor size frame. So you're getting the same autofocus system that's delivered in the D5 in this D500 body. So you've got 10 frames per second, you have a new 20.9 megapixel sensor, you have 153 autofocus points. So you're going to be getting most of your shots in focus at 10 frames per second. So this is kind of a camera that's optimized for sports and wildlife shooters. That's not to say you couldn't use it for other purposes as well. Of course, you can use it for portrait, you can use it for landscape, but for you wildlife and action shooters, this is your camera. There is an additional benefit, of course, to the DX format, and it delivers a 1.5 crop factor. So your big boy 500 millimeter telephoto lens becomes a 750 millimeter equivalent on the Nikon D500. The Nikon D500 will also shoot 4K video. It has the X-Speed 5 image processor, so it's going to be Nikon's latest image processor on board. It's got all of Nikon's best connectivity options. Nikon's got something they're calling SnapBridge, which I believe uses Bluetooth to create a connection with your phone. So it'll be very easy to share images from this camera with your phone if you want to get them onto social media or what have you. It's also got built-in Wi-Fi. But wait, that's not all. D500 has a touch screen, which is a really nice feature that hasn't always been included in Nikon cameras. Only a couple include a touch screen. And the touch screen will swivel. It won't swivel all the way around to the front, but you can tilt it for high angle and low angle shots. And it's kind of similar to the D750 in that regard. The D500 has a unique dual card slot that will accept one sort of standard SD card, SDHC or SDXC, and one XQD card. Now this is a newer type of card. They're more expensive than SD cards, but they're also faster. Nikon has kind of thrown in everything in the kitchen sink into this APS-C sensor camera. So the only question you have is, one, do you need it? Do you need those type of features to shoot action and wildlife photography? Two, can you afford it? Three, would you rather buy this $2,000 APS-C sensor camera, or would you rather buy a full frame Nikon camera for the same or less money? That's a dilemma that many of us will be facing. We'll discuss that in another video. For now, that's a quick look at the Nikon D500 and some of the features that set it apart from the competition. I think with this camera, Nikon is establishing command over the APS-C sensor category again, and I really hope that they follow up this camera by releasing some great DX lenses for it, especially on the wide end where they are so needed. That's it. Quick preview video, guys. Tune in the future and we'll talk more about the D500. Thanks.
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down. Feel free to leave a comment. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.